Hello, everybody. It's nice to see everybody again. So my name is Laura Minkowski, and I'm an international life and relationship coach. I coach in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. So here's another astrological talk, and this one is a really special and powerful one because right now we have Mercury retrograde in Libra. We have the new moon in Libra, and we also have 6 planets in retrograde right now. And this is very unusual. It's very unusual for 6 planets to be in retrograde at the same time. I know that it can sound very scary to people, knowing that 6 planets are in retrograde. But there's no point in being scared about it because it's an opportunity to transform. It's an opportunity to transform, and it's an opportunity to look, within yourself for insights, right? So Mercury, retrogrades are all about reviewing, revising, recalibrating in all ways, right? And especially now with 6 planets in retrograde, like this is a great time to like rethink and reevaluate things in life. And right now, one of the things that's highlighted the most is relationships. So all kinds of relationships, whether it's the relationship with your partner, with your family, with your friends, with your work colleagues. Relationships are in the spotlight right now. So big things can happen in relationships right now, right? So be aware of that, especially because Mercury retrograde is in Libra and the new moon is in Libra as well. So that's all about relationships. And then the 6 planets in retrograde, it also affects relationships, right? And remember that the most important relationship that you're ever going to have is the one with yourself, right? So always work on the relationship with yourself first. All right, so as I mentioned, it's a retrograde period. It's a very powerful time because we have so many aspects happening at the same time. We have Mercury retrograde in Libra from the 27th of September to the 18th of October. You can mark in your calendar that the 18th of October is when Mercury retrograde ends, and many of the other planets go direct on the 18th of October as well. So that's going to be a big day, it's a good day to throw a party, a Mercury direct party or something like that. Then we have the new moon in Libra, the 6th of October, which is today. And then we also have 6 planets in retrograde at the same time. So that's extremely, extremely powerful. So the 6 planets that are retrograde right now. So Pluto goes direct today, actually. So that's a good thing. Saturn goes direct the 10th of October. Jupiter goes direct the 18th of October. Mercury also goes direct the 18th of October. So as I mentioned, the 18th of October is a big day to mark on your calendars. Neptune goes direct the 1st of December, and Uranus goes direct the 18th of January 2022. So these are some good dates to have in mind. So the new moon in Libra. So fall is in full swing right now, and which means airy relationship-oriented Libra season is here. And Libra is super social, and we're getting close to the holiday season. It's crazy to think, that Halloween and Christmas are around the corner right now. So this is Mercury's 3rd and final retrograde of the year. And it's interesting because all the Mercury retrogrades of this year have been in air signs, right? So air signs, it's very connected to relationships and to communication in general, right? So the planets, the planet of communication, this retrograde, it influences transportation and technology and all of that, right? So you can have, if you have, travel plans, sometimes, things can happen in your travel plans, and, there can be all kinds of technology issues as well with Mercury retrograde. So the Monday, October the 18th is when the Mercury retrograde ends. So then after that, it's a good time to have like negotiations and sign contracts, because ideally, if you can avoid it, it's best not to do very big negotiations and to sign important contracts or get married during Mercury retrograde. If you can avoid it, don't do it. I mean, of course, if you have to do it, do it. But it's better to do it, to sign like important negotiations and sign important contracts after Mercury retrograde. So after the 18th of October, it's good to do things like that. So every new moon has a theme that centers around what area of life we should focus on. And in this particular case, it's relationships, as I mentioned. So whether they're, romantic relationships, everything, whether it's romantic, whether it's friendships, work colleagues, it's going to have an influence in money, society, and of course the relationship with yourself is really, really important. So, and Venus is being activated now as well, and Venus is connected to relationships as well. So this is a time that will really test relationships and can take relationships to like a new level, to the next level as well. So it's a time where relationships can end. It's a time where relationships can begin. And it's a time that relationships can go to a new level as well. So this new moon is focused on finding equity and balance in relationships as well. And Libra is always about finding balance. So right now, with this new moon in Libra, it's about finding, that balance, within yourself and in relationships as well. So it's a good time to of course first check in with the relationship that you have with yourself to make sure that you feel balanced within yourself, and then to take a look at all the relationships in your life and see if those relationships are balanced, and if they're not, what can you do to have more balanced relationships in your life. So, another trait of Libra is that Libra is known for being like, justice seeking, right? Justice seeking, lovers of balance, beauty, and partnership. So that's something that's being highlighted now as well, right? Like think about things, justice seeking in your own life and in the world in general, right? There's a lot of like injustice happening in the world, and a lot of division happening in the world right now as well. So Libra as a sign, Libra people, they usually seek, harmony, and they try, always trying to find the balance between things, right? And Libra is also ruled by Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty. So again, highlighting relationships in all ways. And now is a good time also, to get couples therapy as well, since relationships are being so highlighted. So if you feel like couples therapy can help you, now is a good time to look for that as well. So, the air sign is the ruler of the 7th house, which is of partnerships. So all of that is being super highlighted right now. So I would say that in everybody's life, something will happen around relationships, whether it's with a partner, with your family, with your friends, or your work colleagues, because relationships are being so highlighted right now in every way. So the vibe of Libra is lighthearted, personable, and ambitious as well. And it prioritizes equality, justice, and communication in relationships. So sometimes they can be very mentally charged and beauty focused. So again, it's about finding a balance between things, right? So like the main, I would say that the main words right now are relationships and balance. Finding that balance in all relationships in all ways. So so this is a time of finding, if there is imbalance in your life, pinpoint what those imbalances are in those relationships, and try to find solutions. It's a good time to brainstorm how, like, how a relationship that's not balanced, how you can find more balance in that relationship. And this can be, having a talk with somebody, of course, having good communication, of course, with yourself and anybody else, anybody else that, that you're not in balance with. So it's a good time to find solutions. It's a good time to find solutions for any kind of imbalance that you have in your life. And it's a good time to negotiate as well. It's a good time to negotiate, especially in relationships. If there's something that's working for you, or that you need to express to a partner, if things aren't working, it's a good time to voice your concerns or your opinions about things in relationships. So there can also be clashes right now. There can be tense clashes right now, with a combination of everything that's happening with Mercury retrograde in Libra and the new moon in Libra, and with the 6 planets in retrograde. There can definitely be clashes and differences of opinion right now, right? So I think that it's important to remain as calm as you possibly can, especially, knowing that there's so much retrograde activity right now. So people can be triggered in very strong ways right now. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind for yourself and anybody else that you're dealing with, that people can have very strong, they can react very strongly right now in many different ways. And Pluto, Pluto goes direct now. So Pluto is an interesting planet because Pluto highlights like the shadow aspect that we have in our lives, right? And many times we don't want to look at those shadows, right? Many times those shadows can be very uncomfortable, but it's good to acknowledge the shadow, and it's good to look at the shadow, because of course we learn a lot from the shadow. So and Pluto can illuminate control issues and destructive behaviors and power struggles as well. So all of this can come to the surface right now. All control issues and destructive behaviors and power struggles. So keep an eye out for that, and again, try to remain as calm as you possibly can. Try to stay balanced within yourself. So this is highlighting the potential for miscommunication. The potential for miscommunication right now is very big. So when you're communicating with somebody, make sure that your communication is the best that it could possibly be. Like, make sure that you think before you speak, and make sure that you communicate exactly what you mean to communicate right now, because there can be a lot of miscommunication, and people can interpret things in different ways right now. So this new moon is inviting us to sit down and write down, things, right? It's a good time to brainstorm your ideas, and it's a good practice to do, to sit down and start writing down anything that comes to you. You can get all kinds of different insights like that. And with these 6 planets in retrograde, this is a great time to sit down, have a cup of tea or whatever it is that you drink, and tune into yourself and see what kind of messages you get. Because all of these planets, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter, and Mercury, these are all the planets that are in retrograde. And these are planets that are, they're associated with your intentions and your goals and your visions. So this is a great time to think about what kind of intentions and what kind of goals and visions you have, and write them down. review them and recalibrate them, and look at your goals with new eyes. But you have to do, the retrograde period is a period of going inward, like within yourself, right? So it's a time to tune into yourself, and revisit all these, goals and visions and dreams and intentions that you have. So so there's an interesting aspect right now, because Mercury retrograde connects with Mars as well. So the combination of Mercury retrograde with Mars can be a little chaotic. It can be a little chaotic, and it can cause people to react in very powerful ways. And especially when it comes to relationships, right now, people can feel very sensitive. And if they feel ignored, and if they feel like, if somebody feels like they're not being given enough attention in relationships, they can really blow up right now. So be careful with that, right? Keep that in mind. So if somebody close to you feels like that, be sensitive, be sensitive to their feelings, and if you're feeling like this, try to find that inner balance within yourself, right? But always maintain clear communication with yourself and with others as well. And have the courage to voice how you're feeling now as well, because it's not always easy to talk about how you're really feeling. So the involvement of Mars is pretty important here, because if you've been avoiding confrontation and asserting yourself within our relationship, now is the time for you to speak up, right? Now is the time for you to speak up, especially when it comes to relationships. So Mars and Libra can help you voice your opinion, and can help you find more balance in relationships as well. So it's a great time to voice any concern that you have about a relationship, and to feel comfortable doing it as well. So the day after the new moon, Pluto will square, Pluto goes direct. And again, this can bring about power struggles and arguments, because Pluto highlights the shadow side, right? So it can be a little rough. And the energy can be a little bit all over the place. But remember that it's good to be diplomatic. It's good to be diplomatic, and try to keep the harmony in all ways within yourself and anybody else that you're dealing with as well. So if you do anything during this new moon, direct your energy into something productive. Like, now is your time to be productive. So if you do not focus your energy toward productive activities, the more negative energies you're going to feel now. So take this opportunity to use the energy wisely, and then you can have solid, worthwhile accomplishments right now. So there's a lot of good things that can come from this retrograde period as well. So these are some tips to help you in this Mercury retrograde time. So pair up with your better half. You may think of better halves as romantic partners or soulmates or spouses, which is the seventh house of partnership, which is Libra's home terrain. But don't discriminate against any other relationships, because a relationship is any type of bond that you share with another person. So it can be, it can be love, friendship, finances, business, or fitness. It can be your yoga teacher or your workout buddy or your personal trainer. So a partnership can serve to boost your productivity and your emotional centeredness as well. So you can find that Mercury's backward turn in Libra helps you to reconnect with someone from the past whose energy perfectly complements you right now. Or you'll have a chance to address ongoing conflict or misunderstanding with one relationship once and for all. So it's a great time to clear any miscommunication that you have in any kind of relationship in your life. So refocus your personal push for justice. So Libra is all about finding justice, right? So everywhere you look lately, injustice is glaringly obvious and distressing. But, try not to be daunted by it. The Libra energy challenges us to steel ourselves and find, solutions for what is right. Because what could possibly be more important than like a just world or, things that are right. So, so think about the things that you're most passionate about right now. Like, what are you passionate about, like, in terms of justice and about making things right in the world? So, now is the time to slow down and gain clarity around the best way to make a real difference in the world. So think about how you can make a difference in the world, because we can all make a difference in the world. We can all put our grain of sand and make a difference in the world, and you do this by monitoring everything, like every day. Monitor your thoughts, your words, and your actions, right? Because you can only control yourself. Reorganize and prettify your space. So this is a great time to make your space more pretty and more comfortable. So Libra's Venusian vibes make the sign pose at taking something disorderly or like a total eyesore and turning it into a thing of beauty. Like, Libra loves beautiful things, and Libra is connected to Venus, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty. So pick a corner in your house that that you can make nicer, and make it prettier, make it more comfortable for yourself. And that's a great creative project to do right now. Prioritize an open mind and play fair. So Libra is all about justice and being fair. And right now, wires will get crossed right now with all the retrogrades happening, and delays will occur. And there can also be a lot of confusion, and there can be aggression as well. So hold on to Libra's airy, peace-loving energy, and you'll be able to weather the storm better. So be open to switching things up, learning in the moment, prizing equality, balance, harmony, and beauty. The kind that comes from within, and instead of being a complete headache, this Mercury retrograde could be surprisingly rewarding. So this is a reminder that that Mercury retrograde can be good too. It doesn't all have to be miscommunication and bad things happening. So now I'll tell you a little bit more about the 6 planets that are in retrograde. I already told you a lot about Mercury retrograde. So now I'll tell you about the other 5 planets that are in retrograde. So Jupiter retrograde. So lucky planet Jupiter is backpedaling from June 20th to October the 18th in Aquarius. So this transit is quite harmless and doesn't affect us on a very intense level. But Jupiter is not performing like it usually does. But like other people's views and beliefs, Jupiter retrograde will make us all a little bit more judgy, critical, and pushy. So you can find yourself being more judgmental, critical, and pushy, or you can find other people, being more judgmental, critical, and pushy. And right now in the world, no matter what your beliefs are, people believe whatever they believe in really, really strongly. And that's connected to Jupiter retrograde as well. So so remember to be, whatever your stance is, try to be a bit softer with yourself and with other people as well. So right now, with Jupiter being in retrograde, people tend to pick the people that they surround themselves with in a more, in a more judgmental and critical way, right? So people are being more discerning right now with who they choose to spend time with. So Saturn retrograde, the Saturn retrograde started on May the 23rd, and it ends on the 10th of October, so very soon. So authoritative Saturn is all about authority. So so Saturn is in Aquarius now as well. Many planets are in Aquarius right now. That's why this is called the age, the beginning of the age of Aquarius, with lots of changes happening. So contrary to popular belief, Saturn retrograde is a wonderful time, to make new relationships as well as our professional aspirations. So during this time, look at what we want to give. This time is all about asking, what do we want to give all our energy to? So it's a decision that's based on the places that we feel will grow with us through time. And it's totally fine if you're wanting to, spend time with someone who isn't aligning with your higher purpose. So so after all, Saturn retrograde it's a critical eye about who and what commitment looks like. So make sure that that you're with the right people and the right situations right now. So yeah, so take a look at what people are in your life, and if they align with your values and your beliefs as well. Uranus retrograde. So so the Uranus retrograde started on the 19th of August and it ends the 18th of January 2022. So Uranus brings about shakeups, breakups, breakdowns, and breakthroughs. So Uranus is a fun planet because it really shakes things up. And right now, I mean, the world, things are being shaken up in the world in a major way. So Uranus is in Taurus right now. So all financial matters and affairs of the heart will take us on an astrological roller coaster right now. So the same applies to professional opportunities, revising the past story and reassessing our values. So it's time to ask your boss for a raise that you deserve, or like a better cubicle in the office. And things, you can act out of character, but it's a time of rethinking your future. And money will be up and down, making it an important time to think about your finances. So so Uranus really highlights financial matters and affairs of the heart, and it can bring about shakeups, breakups, breakdowns, and breakthroughs. So so a lot happening with Uranus, and I mean it lasts until the 18th of January next year. So this symbolizes many of the big things that are happening in the world right now, with like the big revelations and a lot of information, a lot of shocking information happening in the world right now, and even the Facebook blackout that happened yesterday. That's connected to Uranus retrograde as well. So big things like this, are gonna continue to happen until January. Neptune retrograde. So Neptune started its retrograde the 25th of June, and it ends on the 1st of December. And the planet Neptune will be retrograde. And Neptune is all about reflecting on our innermost dreams, and it also highlights our intuition. So our intuition may not prove to be accurate, rather faulty. As we're letting go of the side conflict with our emotional nature. So so it's important to listen to your higher self and to listen to your intuition. because Neptune retrograde, highlights all of that. So we may see people for who they are, and the reality and the truth will sink in. So this can bring about a lot of insights, and like a lot of like realizations can come from Neptune retrograde, and we're in this period until the 1st of December. So that's good to keep in mind as well. And then Pluto retrograde. So transformative Pluto is it's in retrograde. It started the 27th of April. And it ends today, the October the 6th, and it's Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. So it's going to allow us to heal and evolve simultaneously. And Pluto, like I mentioned, it highlights the shadow aspect as well. So it highlights what needs to change in our lives, and it gives us the strength to start anew. So it's a good time to start something new. So the healing begins when we acknowledge our shadow side, and then we dig deep into the psychological depths of our minds. And this will allow us to take note of everything that we must release in order to live the life that we want. So Pluto is very powerful as well. And as you can see, if you put all the energy, if you combine all the energy of all these planets that are in retrograde, it's amazing energy for transformation right now on all levels. So so balance and transformation and relationships, I would say, are like the three main words right now in this retrograde period. So now I'm going to talk about each of the signs. I know that people are always asking me how these retrogrades affect each of the signs. So take notes about your sign, because I'm not gonna remember the notes for every sign at the end. So for Aries, this Mercury retrograde is all about relationships, and it's about relationships for all signs. All signs are, their relationships are being affected. But for Aries, but especially for Aries, because it falls in the 7th house of partnerships for Aries. So don't take things at face value, and be especially mindful of the things that you say until the 18th of October. Aries is a fire sign, and many times they can say things very fast. So, which can be hurtful as well. So Aries should be mindful of what they should think before they speak, especially before the October the 18th, while we're still in the retrograde period. So intentions can get scrambled. So think before you speak, and let your beloved know that you're needing without them having to guess. Right. So Aries, it's about being more clear with your communication, and think before you speak. For Taurus, it's important to zero in on your well-being right now. So with Mercury retrograde in Libra in your 6th house of health organization, it's a prime time to focus on fresh produce, supplements, hydration, and sleep. And you also have to work on managing those stress levels. Taurus people can be very hardworking, and they can get very stressed as well. So right now, for Taurus, it's very important for you to take care of yourself and not work too much and not get too stressed. Gemini, Mercury rules Gemini. So don't be surprised if this retrograde hits you a bit harder than most. So with Mercury turning retrograde today in your 5th house of love, prepare for things to go sideways in those areas. So it can be a bit of a tricky time for Gemini. So Mercury retrogrades are known for bringing exes back around as well. But should that happen to you, don't feel like you need to take their bait. So Mercury retrograde, your exes can come back during Mercury retrograde, but remember that it's always your choice, whether whether you choose, to talk to them or, make them be a part of your life again. So that's something to keep in mind, especially for Gemini. Cancer, trouble at home, Cancer. The home is very important for Cancer. So with Mercury turning retrograde in Libra in your 4th house, things could get a little dicey on the home front. So ride out like any problems. Don't get defensive or go on the offense with someone who isn't living up to their commitment or is saying one thing and doing another. So until October the 18th, try to stay clear of drama, especially at home. So for Cancer, try to remain as calm as possible, especially in your home and anybody that you live with. For Leo, as if Mercury retrograde didn't affect communication enough, this one falls in the 3rd house of communication for Leo. So communication can be, communication problems can be a big thing for Leo right now. So you could have trouble holding your tongue. Leo can also be a sign that can say things in a very harsh, swift manner. So when possible, try to postpone important work calls or potentially emotionally combustible conversations right now. So Leo, be careful. Be careful about reacting too strongly, or saying the wrong things right now. So be careful with that until the 18th of October. For Virgo, mind your wallet for the next few weeks, Virgo, because Mercury is turning retrograde in your 2nd house of finances. So various fiscal and security issues, could come up at this time. So be wary of your spending, don't go crazy shopping, Virgo. And, a colleague from your past could bring a sequel success. So feel free to reach out and explore. Again, somebody from your past can come back into your life as well. So be careful with your money as well, Virgo. Libra. So Libra, with Mercury retrograde in Libra, in your own sign, in your 1st house of identity, words may escape you at this time. So, this Mercury retrograde will affect Libra in a very powerful way because it's in your sign. So, but you can also be presented with opportunities to, consider communicating in a different style. So consider how you can improve things and watch out for your bossy streak. If you tend to be bossy, try to tone that down right now, because most people don't like being ordered around. So keep that in mind. For Scorpio, this Mercury retrograde falls in Libra and you're unconscious and imaginative Scorpio. So as such, it's better to be a lot less glib and a lot more introspective with touchy conversations. So even if you have to literally bite your lip over the coming weeks, it'll be worth it. So the good news is that you can take this time to focus on becoming a better listener. So for Scorpio, be careful what you say right now. So listen more than you talk right now, Scorpio, so that you don't say anything too harsh right now. Sagittarius, focus on how to be a better collaborator right now, as this Mercury retrograde falls in your 11th house of teamwork. So while it can be tempting to let your unfiltered wits, in a group setting, you don't want to offend anyone. So save the jokes for another audience and stick to the simplest, most concise instructions possible. So for a lot of signs, the message is to be careful on what you say right now, because things, there can be a lot of miscommunication and things can be taken in the wrong way right now. So for a lot of these signs, especially the fire signs, it's very important to watch your words right now. Capricorn, time to exercise patience, Capricorn, with Mercury spinning retrograde in your professional 10th house. So this is a good time to scale back on plans and review and revise to your heart's content. And, you know, this whole retrograde period is about reviewing and revising everything in your life. So, yeah, it's about reviewing and revising and being patient, you know, Capricorn as well, you know, because Capricorn tends to be, it's a very down to earth and very hardworking sign as well. So right now, it's a time to be patient and to go inwards more. So, and then you'll feel better after the 18th of October when Mercury goes direct. Aquarius, looking to go on an adventure, Aquarius, double check and even triple check everything, because Mercury is turning retrograde in your ninth house of travel. So if you don't have any concrete plans, you can always hold off, you know, until Mercury goes direct on the 18th of October. But if that's not an option, you know, make "hi, just confirming" like your personal mantra right now. So Aquarius, if you have travel plans, you have to double check and triple check everything right now, because you know, you can have problems with travel right now. And for Pisces, you've always been an abstract thinker, Pisces, but the truth is that not everyone appreciates your poetic ways this retrograde. So, so with this transit in your secretive, emotionally intense 8th house, you might want to consider a new approach of doing things. So feelings come up for you, rather than getting lost in their vortex, take a break and observe them. So it's an invitation for Pisces to do things in a different way. So yeah, and kind of, you know, keep things more, you know, more to yourself until Mercury goes direct. So thank you. I hope that these retrogrades and this new moon in Libra brings you many insights. I offer coaching sessions in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. You can get in touch with me at lauracoaching@gmail.com. And my website is laurarenankowski.com. My Wake Up to Your True Potential YouTube series, the link is there. You know, please subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends, and help me get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So I'll stop sharing and I'll stop the recording right now.